Hi, I'm Lisa. Welcome to my channel. This is my random recipes using condiments. I'm currently working my way through the sauces. Today I'm going to be doing a 2-for-1. Today I'm going to be making 2 different recipes for sweet and sour sauce. I'm a little concerned about the first one. It's supposed to accompany a meatloaf called Carnation Meatloaf. It's called Carnation Meatloaf because it includes Carnation evaporated milk. But the sauce looks a little iffy. It looks like it might be a 1960s or 70s sad early attempt to try to make ethnic foods. We will see. The second sweet and sour sauce is my personal favorite. I have made this numerous times. It's quick and easy to make. It uses pantry staples, so you don't have to do advanced planning to make sure that you have the right ingredients. If you're looking for a quick, easy sweet and sour sauce to bump up the flavor of some ribs or some chicken, this is a good one to go with. I have got work ahead of me today. I will be going back and forth between the stove and the counter a couple of different times, so I guess it's time to get to work. We'll start over at the stove. I'm over at the stove. The sweet and sour sauce number 1 is actually pretty easy. It only has 3 ingredients. I'll read them off to you and then we'll go ahead and get started. So it has 8 ounces of canned tomato sauce, 1/4 cup of sweet pickle relish, and 1 teaspoon of prepared mustard. I'm going to turn the camera down so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, that looks pretty good. So this is 8 ounces of tomato sauce. Now I'll put the heat on. This is 1/4 cup of sweet pickle relish, and this is 1 teaspoon of prepared mustard. Okay, and that's all that goes in this. Now we're just supposed to combine all ingredients and heat on low for 5 minutes. So it's just kind of warm. I guess we're just going to warm it through. So this shouldn't take super long. I can smell the tomato sauce. And I guess I can smell the mustard too. Well, I think I'm going to pause my camera. There's no point in watching this heat up just for a few minutes. I'll be back when it is warm. Okay, so I'm checking the temp. Let's make it official. We are at 150, so I think that's plenty warm. That's all we're supposed to be doing is just heating it through. So I'll turn this off. This is going to be a glaze for the meatloaf, but I am going to set aside a little bit of it so I can have a taste test of it side by side with the other sweet and sour. So I'm going to put this aside for a bit. I will turn this off again and I'll move back over to the counter. So today I'm going to be doing kind of a yo-yo thing, going back and forth. So next we're going to be making meatloaf. This recipe starts off with, this is 1.5 pounds of 80/20, and this is 3/4 cup of Carnation evaporated milk. Now I get to try something new today. I bought a new blender a couple months ago, and I bought this lovely little attachment that's a food processor, but I haven't used it yet. So I'm supposed to be making a cup or 1/2 cup of cracker crumbs. So I'm going to put in about 1/2 sleeve of saltine crackers. Yeah, okay, that should do it. I'm not sure exactly how many I'm going to need to make a 1/2 cup. Might be too much, might be too little. I have more if I need it. Let's give this a try. So I have not used this thing before, so this is going to be an experiment for me. Okay, so it's locked. And I don't want to puree it, I just want to chop things up. So let's go right there. Well, that was pretty quick, wasn't it? There's like one little stray cracker now. Let's give it just a second more. Okay, we're good. That was easy. And I'm going to measure. I'm supposed to have 1/2 cup of cracker crumbs. I think I'm going to have a little more. That's okay. I'd rather have too much than not enough. Just a little bit more. Okay. That worked pretty well. All right, so I'll turn this so you can see me again. Okay, so we have our hamburger, we have the milk. These are our cracker crumbs. That's 1/2 cup. This calls for 1 egg. So we've got 1 egg here. 1/2 cup of chopped onion. It calls for 1 teaspoon of garlic salt. I went with just plain powdered garlic. So just plain garlic powder. That's 1 teaspoon. And 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And 1 tablespoon of prepared mustard. Now I'm going to go in with my hands. Well, that's the easiest way to tell if it's thoroughly mixed or not. Yeah, that's kind of soupy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use up the rest of my cracker crumbs. Just because, deviating from the original recipe just a little bit. Just give a little more substance, a little more binder. That's not too bad. I don't regret putting in the extra crumbs. Let's put this into the loaf pan. I did use pan spray on it, so things won't stick too badly. Press that in a little bit. It does look a little mushy. This is going to go in a 350-degree oven for about an hour. I'm going to pause the camera again and we'll be back in a few moments. I'm back over here at the stove. I'm supposed to glaze this meatloaf with some of this sweet and sour sauce before it goes in the oven. So I'm going to do that now. So I'm going to put this in the oven. Again, it's 350 for about an hour. Now we're going to be moving on to sweet and sour sauce number 2. I need to pull my ingredients around. I'll read them off to you and then we'll get started. 1/4 of cup of vinegar, 1/4 of cup of sugar, 1/4 a cup of ketchup, 1/4 a cup of water, 1 tablespoon of prepared teriyaki sauce, and 1.5 teaspoons of cornstarch. I'm going to start with the sugar. So in the sugar goes, and then the vinegar. Okay, and I'll turn the heat on now. Give that a stir, let the sugar dissolve into the vinegar. And next is the ketchup, 1/4 a cup of ketchup, and 1/4 a cup of water. I give that a good stir. We want to get that combined. I'm going to put in my teriyaki sauce. That's 1 tablespoon of prepared teriyaki sauce. Let's heat it up. We're going to actually bring it to a boil, and then we stir in the cornstarch. Okay, we're almost there. It's starting to bubble. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to dump this in as I'm whisking. Whisk it pretty vigorously because we don't want lumps. And then we want it to boil for about a minute. That'll help it thicken. Okay, that looks pretty good. That's about the right thickness. So I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to set it aside. And then now we get to wait for the meatloaf to finish baking. I'm back. Dinner is ready. I have meatloaf here, and I want to sample the 2 sweet and sour sauces side by side. So I just heated some frozen chicken strip. It's a fair comparison. So this is just some frozen chicken, nothing fancy. I'm going to put a little bit of, this is sweet and sour sauce number 1. You can tell it's definitely got a tomato base. And this one over here is sweet and sour sauce number 2. That's much darker. All right, so let's go with number 1 first. Definitely strong on the tomato. Kind of bland. Sweet and sour sauce number 2. All right, so sweet and sauce number 2. As the 2 sauces are side by side, this is definitely more of the sweet and sour. It's a little bit tangy, a little bit sweet. It's just, sweet and sour. Now, well, it's good. I like it. That's my personal favorite. And now we're going to try some meatloaf. Turn this down again so you can see what I've got. So I made a little bit of mashed potatoes. These are just instant, nothing fancy. This meatloaf is kind of soupy, but it's definitely, it's firming enough. It comes out in solid pieces. And we'll go ahead and give this a try. So now this is the meatloaf, and it's sweet and sauce number 1 on it. The sweet and sour sauce definitely goes better with the meatloaf than it did with the chicken. I'll try the meatloaf without any of the sauce just to see if it's a decent meatloaf. I do like the meatloaf. It's pretty basic. It's a little soupier than I would like, but not bad. I'm not sure if I really want the the sweet and sour sauce has Glaze, but it's not bad. I mean, it's definitely edible. Well, I hadn't ever tried this meatloaf before. It looked basic enough, so I figured it would probably be pretty good. I wasn't sure about the sweet and sour sauce to go with it, though. I was afraid it might be a good way to run a good meatloaf. After my last attempt at making meatloaf, this one looked like a fairly safe bet. My previous attempt at making meatloaf was called Moxie Meatloaf, and it left a lot to be desired. I will, for the fun of it, I'll put a little link for the Moxie Meatloaf in the comments below. In sour sauce number 2, I knew it was a good recipe. It has a nice balance between the sweet and tangy. And as I say, it uses pantry staples, so it's pretty simple to make and something you can throw together at the last minute if you just need a last minute fix for something. Next time I'll be venturing into the realm of the mother sauces. There are 5 mother sauces, and I'm able to make 2 of them, so I get to learn a 3rd one this next time. I will include the ingredients and the preparation for sweet and sour sauce number 1 and sweet and sour sauce number 2 in the description below, as well as the recipe for the Carnation Meatloaf. If you have any questions, feedback, or suggestions for names from my stand mixer, please feel free to reach out to me in the comments. I would really like to hear from you. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate that. It helps my channel to continue to grow. Thank you for joining me on my journey through the condiments and through the sauces. I'll see you again next time. Bye.